entitled SIL demanded I gift her a baby for her 30th birthday. So I exposed her ridiculousness and immaturity to everyone on social media. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to my dilemma or has even heard of it. It feels strange to even write this. It's about my Mill and SIL, who are pampered brats. SIL is 29 and a single woman. Well, that's not the issue. The issue is that she is an entitled woman who will not accept no as an answer. I am 37 years old and have been married to my 40-year-old husband for 12 years. We have 2 children, a 9-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. Despite our blissful marriage, touch wood, my pain in the neck is my overly theatrical Mill and my overly spoiled SIL. Before I tell you more about my position, let me paint a picture of my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. They are social butterflies, similar to upper-class rich ladies in soap operas who spend their days at salons and massage parlors, and their evenings at bars, chatting about other useless women. They exist in their own fantasy universe. They do not work. All they do is shop and chat. My FIL is busy generating money, while these women are busy spending it. FIL is essentially a non-existent part of the family, or rather a cash cow. There's a rumor that FIL has a mistress, and MIL is aware of it, so they have an unspoken agreement. He fulfills all of their demands without question, in exchange for having a mistress. I am not sure how true it is, but given FIL's status in the family, it appears likely. Otherwise, no sensible man would be silent about Mill and SIL's foolishness. Now, back to my sad existence. Last week, Mill called and invited me out to lunch on a Wednesday afternoon. I wanted to say no, but she hadn't requested to meet with me in a long time. So I suggested an alternate schedule. I suggested that we meet for dinner in the evening, but they are busy women at night, spending time with friends at the gaming parlor, so we decided to meet on Saturday afternoon. I arrived in my usual attire, whereas she wore a completely shimmering black dress. What a great pick for an afternoon lunch. She critiqued my fashion since the moment she saw me. After the light talk, she inquired about what we intended to give my SIL for her 30th birthday. I was perplexed because her 29th birthday was just a few months ago. I mentioned her next birthday is around 10 months away. She laughed and continued, "That's why we need to plan ahead of time. Remember what happened last time? She was dissatisfied with the gifts you gave her, and her birthday was spoiled." I swallowed hard and said, "Yeah, of course, we spoiled her birthday because we gave her a normal $250 dress and not a premium Zara one with a matching sapphire necklace." She went on to elaborate. "To avoid upsetting her this time, I have thought of the perfect gift which you guys should give her." "So what was that? A baby?" "That's right. She wanted me to make a baby and give it to her entitled brat of a daughter." I was appalled. How could anyone believe that someone would ask for a baby as a gift? I could not understand what she was saying. I had to ask her several times if I had heard it correctly. She responded, "Yes, I want you to have a baby and give it to Stacy, SIL, as her 30th birthday present." I flipped out and said, "Why do you think I would do that?" She cried, "To compensate for your inadequate present this time. You wrecked her 29th birthday, and now you owe her this." I stood up and stated, "I don't owe anyone anything. I'm not a broodmare who child and give it to her." I stormed out of the restaurant. On the way home, I stopped to pick up my son from my husband questioned what me and MIL. He'd been told. My husband is aware of MIL and SILs, so he does not take them seriously. He explained. MIL called and said she suggested a present for which you refused, and now she's mad at you. I responded, "Yes. Given as a present to your sister. Do you want that?" For a brief while, he assumed I was joking and making everything up. He was laughing and rolling on the floor as I told him the full story. Then, alarmed, he asked. I made it obvious to him that I would not accept. My husband reassured me. "We are not having. And we are definitely not giving one too." We were both at home when MIL arrived at our house to my room, explaining that MIL stopped me and said she came previous day and begged me to hear her out. I was relieved that she had finally come to her senses. She apologized for not context in her request. "You know, Stacy is turning 30. Has been unmarried for a long time. It is driving her insane. She requires a distraction in life, and having a baby would be an excellent way to keep her a newborn as a fully fledged human being, not cotton candy. Children happy." If the spoiled brat requires a job, but no. The princess does not work. She doesn't move a finger about the house. By the way, she still lives with my in-laws because she has no income. She avoids home duties because if you meet her, you'll notice that her brain hasn't developed since her 14th birthday. And she has a large collection of pink outfits. She knows nothing about the world around her. She will be unfamiliar with the capital city. All she knows is that suddenly arrives on which she recklessly spends. I responded, if Stacy is so keen on having a baby, why doesn't she adopt one? Don't be lazy. So get the equipment back to work. Adopted newborns pose a who knows what with you folks. Can't you do this for your SIL? I looked at my spouse as, would you please? He chuckled and called Mill's suggestion stupid. A lot of motherly. A career to manage and that I couldn't have another baby in the thick of it all. He also commented on how strange it would be if her brother was the father of her child. My mother-in-law simply replied, why not? Maria's sister-in-law was a surrogate for her daughter. So what's the big deal if your wife does the same for Stacy? I was like, wait a minute, that was surrogacy. Maria's sister-in-law carried Maria's daughter's child because she was unable to conceive owing to medical reasons. Here, things are not the same. If Stacy had a medical concern, we might have offered to help her carry the baby. The situation here is different. You're asking us to make a baby as if we were a machine. My partner had advised Stacy should find a guy, settle down with him, and have her own family rather than complicating the situation. Here, Mill began sobbing and lamented, my little girl has tried so many times to find a man, but you know how awful men are these days. She pointed at me and said, you're a lucky woman to have my son, but sweetheart, not everyone is as fortunate as you. Stacy can't be with just any regular man. You know, she has great expectations. The man should treat her like we do. I responded, yeah, of course, the last man Stacy dumped was because he didn't buy her an overly expensive Gucci bag. Mill attempted to justify her pampered princess, but I jumped up and stated, I'm nauseated from this discussion and need to relax. Once more, we will not have a child to give SIL as a birthday present. After a time, my spouse entered the bedroom. He cuddled me and attempted to lighten my melancholy. I asked him what he had told his mother. He told me that he had made it plain that we would not have any more children and that they should quit harassing us. He claimed Mill stormed out of the house in rage. Can you imagine how ridiculous this situation is? I want to bang my head against a wall, or bang theirs too, make them see sense. Update 1. Hello everyone, and thank you for connecting with my post. Some of the comments were just amusing. You're correct in stating that Stacy is psychologically something. I feel the same way. Both Stacy and Mill need to have their heads checked. Perhaps they were buried under pounds of makeup. Lol. If there had been any other regular person, they would have backed off after the previous talk. But now we're dealing with two maniacs. Until recently, it was just Mill. But Stacy has also gotten involved. I tell you, she is 100 times more difficult to talk to since she does not grasp logic. As I said in my previous report, Mill wrecked my Sunday with her baby making pitch. A week later, on the following Sunday, bam, she appears again with her adorable doll. They seem to have promised to destroy my day off. Stacy entered wearing a skirt and a comfortable blouse. This was the first time I had seen her without her very tiny clothes, and her hair and nails were flawless. Mill pointed and asked, do you see? Stacy has already begun dressing like a mama. So this was the cause for her new fashion sense. Do they truly believe that changing your clothes will make you a mommy? Change your clothes and you're ready to be a mother. Stacy smirked at me and replied, I'm in, whatever I do. Then she went to hug her older brother, as if she hadn't seen him in a long time. Remember, I said she acts like a 14-year-old sweetie pie. She cried, as if we were all standing far apart. When is the good news coming? My husband appeared foolish and asked, what's the good news? She smirked and added, I know you want to surprise me with your kid for my 30th birthday, but mom is a spoiler. I now know what your plan is. I'm overjoyed to be the mother of a gorgeous little girl. I have already started buying for her. My husband interrupted her mid-sentence, and I'm glad he did because I was going to slap her skull. He said, that is not true. We're not having a baby, much less giving one as a present. For a long time, she assumed he was merely attempting to mask the surprise. How delusional can you be? When she discovered she wasn't getting a kid as a gift, she screamed at me. Why not? You have always been harsh to me. This is your time to set things right. Come on. Get a nice tiny baby doll. For me, I answered. Stacy, we don't run a baby supply company where you can purchase a gorgeous baby girl and receive one. Do you even know how babies are made? She relaxed and confessed. You know, I've always wanted a baby girl. I have so much love in me that I want to shower it on my baby. You're all depriving me of that. That baby will be really lucky to have me as her mother. I will raise her to be a confident and accomplished woman. I am confident that you will not be disappointed. You see, that is why I said you couldn't reason with her. This is mindless. First and foremost, do you believe she is in the appropriate mind to have a baby? She doesn't even realize that I have no control over my baby's gender. You don't get to choose as you would with a lipstick palette. Second, this witch has never carried a baby in her arms. When my children were babies, she used to chase them away, afraid they might spit and stain her hair and clothes. Even now she won't let my daughter near her because she's terrified she'll damage her nails or hair. Can anyone envision this mother changing a diaper or swaddling a baby in the middle of the night? Furthermore, I cannot go through a tortuous 9 months of pregnancy, then experience the agonizing pain of birth, only to hand over my child to this spoiled princess and watch her transform the baby into a miniature version of herself. Stacy was still rambling on about how she'd be an excellent mother, but I had lost myself in the sentiments I'd expressed above. Suddenly, I stood up and said, "Look, Stacy. I know you're going to hate me for this. You already hate me, so it doesn't matter. I am not going to have a baby for you. Do you understand it? Or should I write it down for you? Because it appears that you and your mother have lost both your hearing and your mind." My husband motioned for me to calm down, but I had lost my mind with their madness. I told them I didn't want to talk about it any further, and if they kept bothering me, I'd block them from my residence. I went into my room and closed the door. I'm not sure if I overstepped my boundaries, but look at them. I cannot put into words how toxic they are. My husband tried to indicate that I was being too outspoken, but I was so upset with everyone that he didn't dare say anything else. He just informed me that his mother and sister had called him a simp and then departed. I don't care what people say. He has to quit being a nice guy to everyone. I was expecting another showdown this Sunday, but it's been quiet so far, and I hope it continues. I just want this inconvenience to cease. Update 2. Oh no, how could I have thought things would end so peacefully? Following the explosion, the next 2 weeks were quiet and tranquil. I felt so at ease without Mill showing up at our door. But God, it wasn't silent at all. There was a flurry of activity going on online that I was completely unaware of. Stacy had been defaming me on social media, alleging that I was taking away her chance to become a mother. She describes herself as a beauty guru and posts makeup tutorials. She has a respectable following on her account. I'm not extremely active on social media because I have a life outside of the screen, with 2 children and a real job. Anyway, Stacy said that her brother was game to have a baby for her, but I denied it. She stated that she has always wanted to be a mother, but because she is unmarried, she has had no luck with adoption. Such a lie. They never even attempted to adopt, and if they had, I'm sure she would have failed the adoption interview. Stacy said a lot of things to put me in a negative light. She said I was denying her a kid because she was unmarried, and I held conservative, old-fashioned attitudes. I wanted to say that I was denying her the kid because she was stupid. I had no idea about her hatred campaign until my husband's aunt called and asked why I was doing this too. Stacy, that was when I read everything. It was amusing how her foolish friends and relatives made me out to be the villain. Even if what she said is accurate, I have the right to say no. It is my body, and I may refuse. My husband encouraged me to ignore it, that it will pass like a season. I originally ignored it, but how can you not read public comments made against you? We are not that thick-skinned. I understood Stacy saw my quiet as weakness and was trash-talking me even more. My buddies and I devised a strategy to make Stacy pay for her actions. I called her and said, "I'm very concerned about the web campaign you're waging against me. The negativity is destroying my reputation, so I'm considering having a child for you." Yeah, I said it to please her ego. My reputation is ruined. I don't care what she or her foolish followers think of me, but she deserved to be put in her proper place. She's been a pain in my side for a long time, and it's finally time to deal with her. I responded, "Stacy, why don't you come over, and we can discuss a few things before we proceed." She was ecstatic, believing she had defeated me. When she came to my place, I replied, "Since I've agreed to your demands, why don't we go live and tell everyone you're having a baby soon? It would help to clear up any poor reviews, and you get a nice viewing time." She agreed right away. She enjoys social networking. We went live and I said, I have agreed to have a baby for Stacy, so let's take some questions for the future mom. Stacy was so pleased with her victory that she had no idea what she was heading into. I responded, so Stacy, what plans do you have for the baby? She giggled and exclaimed, oh, I'm so delighted to be a mother to a baby girl. I had already started buying for her. I'm going to make her look like a celebrity. She's born. I will never leave her without makeup. She will always have to appear perfect and acceptable. I didn't explicitly state that no one could guarantee she'd have a baby girl, but I let the audience educate her on the subject. Her response had already outraged many people in the video, was filled with harsh comments and trolls. Stacy was so focused on expressing herself that she missed everything else. I replied, that's lovely, Stacy, but what about when the baby is fussy and crying? How are you going to handle that? She responded, the girls in our family do not cry, do they? I mean, I have never seen your daughter weep. She's always well dressed and calm. Without making her feel silly, I said, that's because you've only seen her for a short time. Every baby cries. Every tidy, well-dressed infant is the result of many hours of hard effort by the mother. Her answer was, then you can take care of the crying, and when she's calm, I'll dress her up in cute, frilly dresses and matching necklaces and tiaras, and I'll put makeup on her. I couldn't stop giggling and told Stacy, babies cry all day and night. Are you suggesting you'll bring her to me every time she cries and then take her back after she's finished? She exclaimed, yes, that's correct. Why not? I could no longer pretend and let out an evil laugh. She responded, are you trying to scare me off? How difficult could it be? You did it and I can do it too. I am so much better than you. I have more followers and a better fashion sense than you. She abruptly ended the live video while ranting. She was angry at me for grilling her on live camera, but she had no idea how much damage it had done to her. She stated, we're game for the baby. As she walked away, I smiled calmly. My friend taped the entire live session. I wrote a lengthy essay detailing how Stacy and her mother had been pressuring me to have a child and give it to her as a birthday present. I methodically underlined all of the responses during the livestream were enough to let folks realize what an airheaded woman she is. I stated all of the additional things regarding Stacy that were not included in her responses. I tagged her in the post and shared it after midnight, thinking the princess would be sleeping. She'd wake up the next day and, by the time she untagged herself, thousands of people would have seen the message. As expected, my post went viral, owing to Stacy's followers. Tagging her in the post allowed her fans to troll her extensively with comments such as, how could someone with such a low IQ even exist on this planet? A single comment said, forget about being a mother. This woman shouldn't be left alone on the streets. Following this internet argument, my mother-in-law called me. Before she could say anything, I told her, before you say anything, please know that you are being recorded, and I will not hesitate to post it publicly. My God. She hung up and did not call back. I didn't hear from the record all of their calls and conversations, as well as any attempts to make trouble at my place. It was quite satisfying to put them in their place. My husband and I are still giggling while reading the haters' comments on Stacy's video. It's just hilarious.